If the victims themselves are actually telling their stories of actually what happened and are even thinking about actually putting together their own list, how is it still being described by Trump as a Democratic hoax? If it were truly a Democratic hoax, then why were both Epstein and Maxwell imprisoned over it? And why is Ghislaine Maxwell still in prison over it? If Ghislaine Maxwell is serving time for a hoax, why is there even a discussion about possible pardons and clemencies? Why not just let her out because of her being in prison based on a hoax? If some of the sealed and redacted parts of the files weren't being released in order to protect the victims, but those same victims are now releasing some of that information in their own words, wouldn't it now appear to be that it is not the victims that are being kept secret within those redacted files, but instead the perpetrators, the co-conspirators, the other sexual abusers of children? They are the ones being shielded and protected behind those sealed and redacted files. And if those files are, as Donald says, a hoax, why not reveal the hoax and who the hoax was perpetrated against? Why? I'll tell you why. Because it's not a fucking hoax. And the orange one is so delusionally wrapped up in his own creative thinking that he's even willing to accept the fact that when he continuously calls it all a Democratic hoax, he's also calling the victims a hoax. Epstein and Maxwell's convictions and imprisonment, a hoax. The victims' statements, a hoax. Their recent press conference, a hoax. The absolute real involvement of other pedophiles, a hoax. Everything's a hoax based on him saying it is. You know, I have another question that's been bothering me. With all of that money that he used to constantly brag about, why doesn't he just hire a professional makeup artist to color blend his hands instead of using that glitter exterior PPPF21 cliffhanger? Anywho, you know, I'm actually super surprised he hasn't started verbally attacking the victims yet, especially Miss Shantae Davies, who specifically pointed out both Epstein and Ghislaine's constant bragging about Trump being their close friend, and that framed picture on Epstein's desk. Oh, that was the best cake icing of the conference. Well, that and Miss Lisa Phillips' intro of all of the ladies creating their own list. No, that was the proverbial czar bomb. It's still early. I'm lightweight, scratch that. I'm heavyweight, expecting an attempted character assassination by Trump on at least one of the Epstein victims. And you know the only reason it hasn't already happened is because you also know there's someone, if not many, in the background saying, "Mr. President, you can't do that. You can't possibly think it's a good idea to actually attack any of the sexually abused victims. That's insane, Mr. President." Hopefully, his ego will do what it do and convince him that he's right, like he thinks he always is anyway. And everybody will get to witness a truly disastrous orange disaster finally imploding. Let's give it a countdown, shall we?